Have you ever just sat there staring at a blank page, trying to figure out how to wrestle your ideas into a really powerful, persuasive essay? Yeah, you're definitely not alone. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to crack open this notoriously difficult, high-stakes exam, and by doing that, we're going to uncover the universal secrets that separate just okay writing from truly great writing. Let's get into it.
Okay, so our story kicks off in 2015 with this number, 24,123. That's how many hopeful candidates signed up for a huge civil service exam. And the essay? Well, that was the big monster they had to beat. I mean, that's a whole stadium packed with ambition.
But ambition only gets you so far. When the actual exam day rolled around, that number dropped, all the way down to 14,771. So thousands of people backed out before they even wrote a single word. And for the ones who showed up, well, the real gauntlet was just getting started. And this is where the numbers get, frankly, insane. Out of those nearly 15,000 people who actually took the test, only 359 passed. 359. That's a failure rate of over 97%. I mean, wow, it's a brutal, brutal filter. And it just makes you ask one thing. Why? Why do so many people fail? It's not because they aren't smart, and it's not because they didn't try. The reasons are actually super specific, and they shine a big old spotlight on the common traps that pretty much all of us fall into when we try to write persuasively. So, in this explainer, we're going to unpack that 97% failure rate and hand you the blueprint to join the top 3%. And we've got a clear game plan to get you there. First, we'll look at that wild failure rate. Then, we'll diagnose the problem in the anatomy of a writing failure. After that, we'll build our way back up, starting with the fundamental building blocks, putting them together with the blueprint for a perfect essay, and finally, we'll master how to craft a winning argument. So let's start by really understanding what's behind this staggering number. A 98% failure rate, it's not just some statistic from one test, one time. No, it represents a core challenge that most of us face. How do you get your ideas across clearly and persuasively, especially when the pressure's on? Okay, time for the diagnosis. You can't fix a problem until you know exactly what it is, right? So let's pull back the curtain and look at the very specific mistakes that cause this massive failure rate, the stuff that graders see over and over and over again. The source material basically groups all these mistakes into three main buckets. First up, grammar gaffes. We're talking simple stuff, spelling errors, mixing up past and present tense, messing up commas. Second, structural flaws. This is like sentences that ramble on forever, no clear outline, or just totally ignoring the word limit. And third, content mistakes. This is the big one, making weak arguments with no backup, going off on a tangent, or just completely missing the point of the question. When you see it laid out like this, it doesn't seem so scary, right? It's fixable. Okay, we've diagnosed the issues. Now, let's start building the solution. If you want to write with real authority, you have to have total control of your language. And it's not about memorizing definitions you learned in grade school. It's about really mastering how language fits together to create precision and power. It all starts small, at the level of a single word. Picking the exact right verb or the most descriptive noun, that's not just a tiny detail. It's the foundation. It's the first decision that sets the tone for your whole argument. This is where precision begins. From there, we start stringing words together into phrases, to add a little color, a little detail. But this can also be a bit of a danger zone. The right phrase can make an idea pop, but too many can just clutter things up and bury your point. The goal here is elegance, not just more words. Now we get to the real engine room of a sentence. The clause. This is where a subject, a who, or a what finally connects with a verb, an action. And your ability to skillfully mix these different types of clauses, well, that's what creates rhythm and stops you writing from sounding flat and robotic. And it all comes together to build the sentence. A single, complete thought. Honestly, a powerful essay is just a series of these clear, well-built sentences where each one carries your argument one step forward. Mastering this is the absolute bedrock of convincing writing. So why does this all matter? Because it completely changes the meaning. Take a look at this classic grammar trap. He delivered a lecture yesterday. Simple. It happened in the past, it's over. But if you say he has delivered a lecture, that connects the past action to right now. It has present relevance. You see why you can't say he has delivered a lecture yesterday? The tenses are fighting each other. It's a tiny detail, but it screams a lack of precision. All right, so we have our building blocks. We've got our words, phrases, and sentences. But a pile of bricks doesn't just become a house, right? You need a plan. You need a blueprint. So now let's look at how to assemble all those pieces into an essay that's strong, solid, and persuasive. And this visual just says it all, doesn't it? A top-level essay isn't just about one thing. It's a perfect balance of 5 different things, each one worth an equal slice of the pie. Structure, content, grammar, expression, and argument. If you let any one of these slide, the whole thing gets wobbly. You could have the best argument in the world, but if your grammar is a mess, it all just falls apart. So what is it we're actually building here? The author of our source material, Mary Hussein Jazra, puts it perfectly. He says an essay is an opinion laid out comprehensively over 20 to 25 paragraphs. That gives you a real sense of scale. This isn't just a quick thought. It's a deep, sustained, and organized argument.
Now, let's zoom in on the most important paragraph of all, the introduction. It's broken down for us into this dead simple 3-step formula. 1, you start broad with an opening statement. 2, you give a roadmap with your supporting statements, telling the reader what's coming. And 3, you land the punch with your thesis statement, that one powerful sentence that flat out states your main argument.
Okay, we've talked structure, we've talked grammar. Now for the final piece of the puzzle. This is the skill that takes your writing from just being correct to being genuinely compelling. Let's talk about how to craft an argument that actually wins. First things first, you gotta know what game you're playing. There's a huge difference between essay types. A descriptive essay just asks you to explain something. Simple enough. But an argumentative essay, which is where the big points are, it demands that you take a side, a hard yes or no. And look at that last row. It doesn't just want good language, it requires extraordinary language to back up your claim. So what's the secret sauce for a truly powerful argument? It's not about being the loudest voice in the room. It all comes down to 2 words: sufficient justification. For every single claim you make, you have to bring receipts. You need to back it up with proof, whether that's quotes, real-world examples, cold hard facts and figures, or smart comparisons. An opinion without evidence, it's just noise. So, look, that crazy 98% failure rate, it's not some big, unsolvable mystery. It comes down to really predictable mistakes in grammar and structure and in argument. But we've also seen that there's a clear step-by-step blueprint for success, from the smallest word choice all the way up to the big picture. The difference between failure and success isn't some innate talent. It's a plan. We've just handed you the tools and the blueprint. So the only question left is, what are you going to build with them?